Well, we have a wonderful collection from our friends at Hunky Dory. We have dapper dogs and classy cats, and that's just so much fun. And Heidi has been busy creating lots of things. I guess I'll show you these two classy, let's see, dapper dogs, and you can see they have some steampunk elements with them. And I ask you, won't you please come play with us? Well, before we get into the projects, let me just show you what are all these goodies that I have in front of me. I guess we'll start, well, actually, I'm going to start with this. This is the little book of Dapper Dogs and Classy Cats, and this measures about 4 inches by 6 inches. This is a very wide, about an inch wide. There are 120 sheets. They are single-sided. And there are 120, as I said. There are 20 different designs, and I will show you, I guess I will show you them now. Now, Heidi has used 2 of them, so here we go. And we're going to start here. So there are dogs and cats both, and some are vertical, as you can see. Don't they just look quite dapper, as the titles would suggest? And okay, and as I said, they are single-sided, and some are horizontal and vertical. Now we get into the classy cats, just so sweet. Okay, and they are taking the whole length of that art. Just very, very sweet. And here we go. So they are evenly divided. There you go. Now, as I said, there's 1 cat and then the dogs that are also going to be used in the project. So that takes care of that. Then there are these kits. Now, these are the topper kits. So we have a perfect day, this is Feline Fabulous. Now, each of these has 1 sheet that are the foiled and die cut pieces, as you have come to know from Hunky Dory. So these are foiled. As you can see, they'll just pop right out. And some of them have many layers. So this one has the center, there's a gold foil, and then a printed, another one. There's some greetings, and you can see there's just lots of pieces. Then there is a foiled sheet that is printed, and then another sheet that is just printed. So those 3 pieces are included in each of these kits. So this one is Feline Fabulous. This is going to be used. The Jolly Good Fellow, he is going to also be used by Heidi. And I guess I'll be showing you that when we get into the project. And then your Vintage is another one. So 2 of the dogs and 2 of the cats. And then also separately, there is this collection of Mary cardstock, and there are 16 sheets, 2 each of 8 colors. You can kind of see the colors down here. There are 4 of them that are used in the projects, and then these in addition. So there's also a blue, a pink, a red, and 2 others. A kind of a smoke and a gold. Of course, there's going to be a gold. And this other plum and a burgundy and another gold. So you're going to get a couple of golds, and that is in this. So everything is going to coordinate, of course. So I'm going to separate these to go with the projects that I'm about to show you. And these were not used. These are all sold separately, but as you know, there's going to be a money saver that I will tell you about at the end. So here we go with our first project, and this is the card that I showed you in the beginning. Now, this started out to be the 5 by 6.5 inch card. However, Heidi promptly took scissors to it, and she cut off the card front. However, she left 3/4 of an inch from the fold. So just that 3/4 of an inch piece. Cut the rest of it off. She did cut it to only be 6 inches long. Now, I will tell you that there are directions. They're printed down below. You'll see the card itself. Just click on it and you'll see the directions. So that just makes it easy. I will give you what I can right here, but there are the printed ones. And she did take a piece of acetate, cut it to be the 6 inches by 5 inches, and then she attached it with extra sticky tape, which for some reason I don't have right in front of me, and I should. Attached it to the back. Actually, you could attach it just to the front of the card, because then she took a piece of the Mary, and that's out of that package, and these are A4 size, so that means they are bigger than an 8.5 by 11, and this is a gorgeous color, as you can tell, and cut a strip to go over it and attach that with the extra sticky tape. That way it just covers it up, and it just does a nice job of covering it up. So you've got that 3/4 inch by 6 inches. Then at the other end of it, she did the same thing, cut a piece to go over the top of it, okay? Now, this little guy is going to come from the book, the little book of, and what she did is she, in this case, let's see, she just cut around these little guys. Now, she did trim off that brown edge, and she did glue it at the edge of the Mary, at the top and at the bottom. So it's got just a little brown edge, okay? So on each side. And she did just go right around the little guys, okay? And she did foam tape those on top of the acetate, okay? And then I want to hold this at a side so you can tell. The hats were cut separately and foam taped, and that just gives you a bit of dimension. And she used the copper jewel dazzles. Can you see that shine along the rim of the hats? Well, those were done with the dazzles, and so that just does a great job. Now, she also used the Steampunk for Everyone dies, and she used them with that same Mary that she used at the top and the bottom of the card. And she used the gears and the butterfly, and then she did the wings of the butterfly. Now, normally we attach those over the butterfly, but what Heidi did, she did the butterfly over here, and the wings she put on either side of the hat, so that's kind of fun. So this is the gear, and then she also did the clock, and the clock is right here. And so she just added them on top of her puppies, and so that worked. Oh, you know, the other thing that I'm noticing is his snout is also just cut out, and his bow tie. So the two hats, the snout and the bow tie, are all foam taped on top. So that was cut out of another piece. And as I said earlier, there are 6 sheets of every single design. So you've got plenty to work with. So that just worked out really nicely. And the copper jewel dazzles are in the hats, but they are also added to those die cut pieces. You can see on the butterfly, on the clock, just adding a bit more dimension. Speaking of which, with that acetate, when you open it up, she took yet another of the pieces of the 2 dogs and cut it out, and then foam taped it or put it with the extra sticky tape, turned it over so that they were covered up, so that you didn't have the foam tape showing, and just kind of masked all of that with the back side of the puppies. Okay, more of the Mary cardstock was again taped in place back here, so everything is just very finished looking, and that's really nice. Now, this is now onto the card itself, and she did the same thing. So here is that image that has been just glued in place, and she did add more of the dazzles, and this is kept flat, so no 3D there, and the dazzles are just adding a bit of shine. And You're the Best, well, that is coming out of, this is our Tiny Words and Phrases in black. This is a single sheet, and there's just so much here. You're the Best is going to work, but all of those stars are there too. Let me hold that up so you can see it. also, I think on the front, yes, the word thanks, that is also in that sheet. So you will be surprised how many times a small space just calls for something to be there, and this is the solution. Okay, so we have our dogs on the front, our same dogs on the inside. They're masked with also more cuts and just taken care of. And this will fit into the envelopes that come in the same package. So that will work nicely. Okay, so we have one set of puppies done. Now we're going to turn to our kitties. And this is also part of the same package of the little book of Dapper Dans and Classy Cats. And this is the image that you're going to use. And these are just really a nice size, that 4 by 6 size. And this is being done on a card that is the tent card and 7 by 5. In England, they measure the length first and then the width. Here in the U.S., we do the width first. You know, we have to be different, the width and then the length, so we call it a 5 by 7 card. And this is being used with the oval doilies. So this is what they look like, and I'll pull one out and just show you. So what Heidi did is she used this darkest Mary that's in that package. It's kind of a smoke, and it may look black against the white card right there. And she did cut a piece that is smaller than the 5 by 7 card and attached that first. And then she took her cat, and where are you, cat? There you are. And matted it onto the gold piece. And like I told you, in that sheet or in that package, you're going to get 2 sheets of each of the colorways. So you're going to get 2 sheets of that gold. And so this is going to get matted on that gold. And before it gets attached to the card, you're going to take the doily, and you can see how it is, it's pretty much the size of that matted image, but you're going to kind of crinkle this to go around the image, okay? So the doily isn't terribly delicate. I mean, you can kind of squish it a bit and bring it around. And what Heidi did is that she took this ink pad is called Lovely Lilac. And you know, I really had trouble seeing it on the project. And I thought, you know, I don't know that she really even used it. But on closer inspection, and I'm not sure you can see this on camera, but there is a little bit. So she said that she just took the blending brush and just kind of gently went over this. Now you're going to see this more on the inside of the card, so patience, okay? So she just squinched that on top, so you can kind of see how she squinched it. And she did add some pearls. Now the pearls that she added, and actually you really can see that better in the before and the after. So this is just the image, and then look how those pearls just really add a nice touch. I thought that was very clever. These are the brown pearls, and vintage brown is what they're called. And you can see that they go from a very light color into a deeper color. And she used the lighter tones and many different sizes in here. These are also by Hunky Dory. And the larger ones at the bottom, the lighter ones up here. And she even put a couple into the flowers at the top. Now, she also used the gold tiny words and phrases. She used the black on the first one, and it says, "You're the best," with a gold heart right there. That's very sweet. And so just a little bit of lilac here. Then after that doily is put in place, then that is foam taped onto the top of the card. And you want to foam tape it because that doily is kind of bulky underneath, so that's just going to take care of it nicely. and our little kitty with her very pale blue eyes. Okay, now inside, this is also going to get matted onto the gold, and it has the doily, but the doily has been trimmed down. So you're going to take, I think you get 10 of them in the package. So you're going to take another one and just trim off those narrow ends and tuck them in. But first, and again, I'm not sure that you can see this on the camera, but well, can you see that that's white? Well, that's the lilac, so you can see a difference there. So she did just color the inside with the lilac, and the lilac does a nice job of going with the image on the paper. Something else that she did, so she did mat this piece onto the gold, but look what she did. I mean, I can turn this and show you. So then a second sheet, she just cut out the cat and foam taped that on top, the whole cat. Then she did, I guess it'd be a third image, cut out the hat and cut out the flowers and foam taped them on top, and just has a nice little finished image. For You is out of the Tiny Words and Phrases, more of the pearls here, and it just finishes it. And again, she's got the doily, same treatment as she did on the front of the card. Well, I guess not the same treatment, but a little bit of just right there, okay? So just nicely done. Okay, so that finishes this card. And you still have Mary left, so that's nice. And you have some doilies left. And Heidi has done a nice job of using those oval doilies. Okay, now we're going to stay with our kitties, and we're going to be using our Feline Fabulous. That's a nice tone, isn't it? And we're going to be using the Slimline cards. Now, these are not the hunky-dory ones. These are the Paper Wishes ones. They come in a package like this. There are 10 Slimline cards and 10 envelopes. The 10 cards are scored, but they are flat, and that just makes it easy to begin the process. And in this case, let me show you. So to do our card, you are going to be using this piece with the foiling, and this little gal is going to be on the front of the card. And the Mary, now this comes from that Mary set, is this very pretty pinky purpley color, okay? And what's nice about the Slimline is that when you turn this sheet sideways, it's going to fit quite perfectly. Can you see? So this is going to get cut down to fit. Again, the directions are down below. So you're going to trim it to be whatever that is. I think it's probably 2.5 inches. And she's just going to fit nicely. I guess you have to trim a little bit off, because I can see that this rose is going to get trimmed off. And then you're going to mat her onto this Mary, okay, like so. And then what she did, and it's interesting to me that she went into the light pink ribbon set, and she pulled out the sheer ribbon, so I'll do that. And it is it has a design on it, so that you can see. And she wrapped it over the gold foiling. I think the gold foiling is pretty doggone pretty, but she did wrap this over it and then just tape the ends on the back and then attach that to the front of her card. Now this piece, can you see how it's kind of bowed? Well, she achieved that by stacking 2 layers of foam tape in the center. This piece is right here on her die cut and foiled piece. So simply pop it out and kind of just rub it between your fingers and kind of curl it a little bit. Add those 2 layers of foam tape in the middle and then attach it on each side just like that. Now, Heidi is a firm believer in making perfect bows, and the thing that helps her is Hunky Dory's Bow Maker, as you know, and many of you have joined her club there, and she zots it right above that sweet little kitty. And she's added some pearls on each side. The Hugs is right there, and that is a Dazzle set. And that comes, let's see, why don't I have it? Well, it's not the tiny words and phrases. My goodness. Well, it will be in the instructions, and I apologize for that. It looks to me like it's in the script greetings, so that will take care of you. Okay, now we've only used this little bit, so let's go on the inside and aha. So this part was used, but you've got all of this. So what Heidi has done is she simply turned it this way, and that is what she's going to use on the inside. However, she's going to flip it like this. Okay, you see what I mean? Now, she did the same thing. She used the pink ribbon over the top of it. Now, if you like that, that's perfect. If you want to have that foiling showing, you can just not do that step. It's up to you. But you will want to have your do your trimming of this to fit. Now, she did cover the whole inside with this absolutely beautiful Mary. And so just get your adhesive, place this down, and trim it to fit. So that will work. Now, the other thing that she did that I think is very clever is you see how this has got kind of a funny arch? Well, what she did is this little guy is right here, as you can see, but this arch is this piece. And so she popped that out and simply placed half of it right here and then just trimmed it off. And it just creates a different kind of frame. And I thought that was interesting. And then you've got the other half of it too. And then this is foam taped. The little circle that says Feline Fabulous, of course, is foam taped on top with 2 layers, because this is 1 layer and that's 2 layers. And Thinking of You, that's also part of the gold script dazzles. And more of the pearls and more of the bow with a light pink ribbon set. So right there. So that takes care of it. What's nice with the greetings combined with the script dazzles is that you get your whole message. So Hugs, Thinking of You, and Feline Fabulous. Just really, really charming. And of course the envelopes fit the project too. And by having this little set, you have some of this one left, all of this, and much of this is left. So Hunky Dory says that you can make 2 cards. You can make at least 2 cards out of this. You've got plenty left, so that's very, very nice. Okay, now we're going to step into our last card, which is going to be a puppy. And this is a jolly good fellow. And doesn't he look like a jolly good fellow? I think he's just absolutely charming. It looks like Winston Churchill, don't you think? Okay, this is back to our 5 by 6.5 inch cards. And this is obviously using this one. And this time it is also going to use the sheet with the foiled adorable scoreable and printed. We're not going to be using this one. So you see what they do. In fact, you can kind of see it this one. Let me put these 2 together. This sheet has multiple images on it. And so they do one that's printed that's going to match, and another one that's, in this case, this is the foiled one that matches. So you've got things that are going together. Okay. Now, what she did, and then she selected this to be out of the Mary cardstock. So you get all of those 8 different colors. And so I've shown you 5 of them in the projects, and then you had 3 more that I showed you at the very beginning. So those were the 8. So lots of colors, lots of shine, and that's the idea. Okay, so for this, the front of the card is going to be this piece that's been trimmed, and then there's going to be this piece that's going to be, it's going to be just like this. It's going to be cut right here, and that's going to be the top part of it. So you kind of have a header to it. And then that's going to be, well, first you're going to cut this. Okay, blah, blah, blah. We're going to cut this. Then you're going to mat that onto the Mary. Put that on your card. And then foam tape this piece. And, you know, as I've been pointing to this part, actually she used this part because she wanted to get that little bow. And see how she cut around it. So it's just a little bit of decorative element. And then this is going to get foam taped on top. Then this border comes from this sheet. Plus you get the foiling. So that's nice. So you're getting the foiling here, but you're also getting the foiling right here. And that's just lovely. So that's going to be foam taped on there. And then the old chap, happy birthday, old chap, that is right here. So it's just nicely done. You've got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of foiling for that old chap. And this is hats off to you. That's also on the sheet, and that's going to get foam taped down here. And then the these aren't pearls, they are sparkles. This is gold and silver. That's been placed here and here. And here you didn't have to tie a bow. Then on the inside of the card, that's where you're going to be doing something else. So what you have is this sheet. And you have, so you've used this area and you've used this area, but you have a lot in here that hasn't been used. So what she did is that, and I just want to feel this. Okay, so she used this area to cover the inside of her card. Let me scoot that down. And then she again used a strip, but this time she put it in the middle. And she turned it the same way, but just used it in the middle. I mean, it's a beautiful border, so let's use it. And then with this piece, she did not use the solid gold frame, that arch. She saved that for something else. So she used the biggest arch and glued that down. Then she foam taped him. And then she only used a little bit of this border on the front of the card, so she used another piece. Notice it's going the whole width of the card. And then this is for a jolly good fellow. So that's right here. It's just down flat. This is cheers to you. It's very British, isn't it? And then more of those sparkles are right there and there. And that takes care of it. It just takes care of it. This is going to slip right into the envelope. Just lovely, don't you think? And I think it's very appropriate that there is Mary and sparkles on him just to really kind of finish him up. So, and I like the fact that there he's pointing that way, and on the inside he's pointing the other direction. So very, very nice. Very elegantly done, as is quite proper for him. Okay, to recap just what this has, let's see, let me pull all these Marys together so you really do get one final look at all of them, because there's a lot of colors. Okay, so to recap, we have, okay, so here's the Mary, and there are 16 sheets, so 2 each of all of those very pretty colors. I didn't do a good job of showing those to you in the beginning, but there they are. And then we have our little book with 120 sheets of 20 designs, and you get 6 of each one. And then we have our A Perfect Day topper set, along with our Feline Fabulous, and our Your Vintage, and see if I can get him into the shot. Scoot you guys over. Our Jolly Good Fellows. All of those. Now, you can buy them separately, or you can get a money saver. And in the money saver, you're going to obviously save a little money. That is on the right side of your screen. As I said, there are written directions down below for all 4 of the projects, so you can just click on the card and then you will see the directions. You can print them off should you like to do that. Okay. If you are watching us on YouTube, you can we hope that you will subscribe to the YouTube channel. More importantly, we hope that you will head on over to Paper Wishes, because that's where you can get the money saver over there on the right-hand side. You can see the directions, and you can, see all the products that too, and have a chance to pick and choose, or as I said, get the whole money saver. And I'd like to thank Heidi for doing such a very nice job on all the projects, and for giving us different ways to use the things. And that's what's really, really fun, is to see what a different designer wants to do with them. And I want to thank you most of all for being part of our Paper Wishes family. We absolutely couldn't do it without you. Okay, I'll see you again. Actually, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.